Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here, coach of the Bronx Beartics with my week 1 team builder for the Tampa Bay Luxrays, who are coached by Monotooi. I very much respect Monotooi as a battler and as a person in draft format. I've actually watched a bunch of his battles in the past, so it should be a really fun week 1. But yeah, you guys see, his team is really, really threatening. He has Keldeo, Gliscor, Snorlax, Slowking, Rotom Cut, Palossand, Mega Charizard X, Weavile, Registeel, Comfey, and Jiggalgi. So going into this game, I wanted to make sure that I didn't get swept by Mega Charizard X. That's pretty much the reason why I drafted Rhydon in my draft. Also because I have a lot of connections with Rhydon when it comes to draft format. But when I was going into this, I did build with my boy Jambad. Big shouts to him. We decided that the best way to play, and I'm actually going to switch up this member real quick right here to the front, even though Zygarde was the first Pokemon to finish. We decided the best way to play was to Hazard Stack versus him. He has 2 forms of Hazard Control. I guess technically Charizard, but he has Rotom Cut as well as Gliscor, and my Selgor deals with both of them, whether it be with Bug Buzz or HP Ice. So the thought process was Hazard Stack versus him, whether it be Toxic Spike or Spike, both of which actually come into play in a few calcs that you guys will see as we keep going. And from there, try and pressure him with a bunch of setup mons, but also try not to lose to Charizard X. So the first Pokemon we have on my team is Ninja, the Asfgerthrrth, coming back. Like I said, I wanted my Asfgerthrrth to be able to threaten the 2 most likely defoggers, whether it be Gliscor or Rotom Cut. I'm pretty sure both of them were coming. Actually, when it came to the game, I was positive that Keldeo, Gliscor, Weavile, Charizard X were coming, as well as Rotom Cut, and the last one would be a toss-up between Slowking and Snorlax, because I felt like that was the best versus me, or the best mons that he could possibly bring versus me. But yeah, I made it sure that my Selgor could deal with both a defogging Gliscor and a defogging Rotom, and if it was defog Gliscor, that actually comes into play as we keep going on with the team, because that means he has 1 less move to hit some of my members. I did have Stack Attack as well. I also have like Salazzle and Pokemon like that, but I felt that this 6 were my best, and we'll talk about why. So, like I said, I made sure that a Selgor could deal with both of his defoggers, whether it be an Oko or a 2-hit KO with HP Ice, depending on the investment on Gliscor. But I have Toxic Spike's Modest Nature, Max Speed. It outspeeds his Weavile, which is his fastest Pokemon, unscarfed. So, Focus Sash lead a Selgor, and again, just play with hazards. If I did see Jiggalgi, though, I was pretty sure I wouldn't, just because I have Pokemon like Necrozma, Zygarde, even Stack Attacka if I dodge Focus Blast. Like Pokemon like that, I feel like I could deal with them. Now, his Z-Mons were Slowking and Rotom Cut, so I did keep that in mind while I was playing, though I was fairly sure if he did bring a Z-Mon, it wouldn't be Slowking, because I thought that Slowking, if it was coming, it would be more of an Assault Vest variant to actually help him out versus a potential special Necrozma. And Rotom Cut, I actually think Z-Move is really nice on it because Bloom Doom is really solid versus Zygarde or even Gyarados or even Necrozma just getting up that KO. But yeah, I ended up using Spike's lead of Selgor. So next up we have the Pokemon that I kind of built my team around, which was Zygarde. I have a bunch of other members, but this Zygarde in particular, it was meant to outspeed Rotom at +1, Scarf Rotom at +1. The 36 attack investment allows me to knock out max HP Jiggalgi 100% of the time with +1,000 arrows. 172 HP, 108 Spadef means that I take Scalds from Slowking always, so it can never break my sub. And it also allows me to sub up versus a Pokemon like Registeel, which I didn't think he would bring versus me. I felt like Registeel would have been like a mon that I could easily set up on, whether it be with Sub, Dragon Dance, Gyarados, or even Zygarde. Even if you brought like Ice Punch or anything, I could coil through it and take it on. But yeah, Zygarde's just so bulky that even at +1 with a coil, Charizard doesn't do that much with Dragon Claw. And I basically made it sub Dragon Dance 1,000 Arrows Coil. I was debating between this and like a rest type of set, but I decided that sub Dragon Dance Coil would be a little bit better because I could potentially set up on Gliscor, even if it has Ice Fang or Toxic. Like I was debating going max speed just in case if he brought a max speed Gliscor and he taunted my Zygarde, it would be a little bit problematic. But I figured if he brought Gliscor, it'd have to be a more defensive variant, just because I have Pokemon like Stack Attack, and that's like his best Stack Attack switching. Then again, my Stack Attack isn't a Z-Mon, but I ended up with sub Dragon Dance Coil because again, I could sub up on Registeel's Seismic Toss, so I'm pretty sure if he brought it, he would bring Ice Punch, but even then, Coil just allows me to eat that up because Registeel doesn't have the best attack. This Pokemon could sub up on Palossand, and like I said, Slowking if it was lacking Ice Beam. And also some variants of Gliscor, especially if he's a Stealth Rock variant of Gliscor. Because if he does bring Gliscor, and I don't see a Registeel, I'm going to assume it's a Rocks variant, and maybe even a Defog variant. But sub Dragon Dance Coil, Dragon Dancing again, allowing me to outspeed Rotom at +1, and that could sub on a Leaf Storm if it was Scarf. If it had HP Ice, I can, play accordingly. But the idea of Zygarde was be able to set up and with Coil and with T-Spikes just wear down his team and allow it to overpower Pokemon like Keldeo and even Weavile to an extent if I end up behind a sub. So next up we have Rhydon. Now I had to bring this Pokemon because I'm not trying to lose to Charizard if it clicks Dragon Dance. Versus my team, a Dragon Dance Charizard with Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Roost would actually be enough versus the majority of my team. You don't really need Flare Blitz versus my team. So I was really worried about it. So I brought Rhydon specifically for that, my boy Aim, well, that's me. And basically Stealth Rock, Earthquake. Earthquake ensures I get off damage on Charizard, also 2 KOs Registeel. For the most part, if it's special defensive. Also does a decent chunk to Snorlax. And I put Roar as my third move because if Charizard does set up and I'm weakened, or if he even stays in regular form, I can't really touch him, right? I didn't want to bring Stone Edge. I wanted Ice Punch because I wanted a super effective hit on Gliscor, as well as one on Rotom, basically as defoggers. So if they wanted to come in, especially if Rotom is choiced, I could Ice Punch, and then maybe I could predict them to defog, Ice Punch again, or even just click Stealth Rock again. Rhydon also stops him from Volt Switching around, and also can check Pokemon like Dragalge. I actually run enough speed for a 0 investment Dragalge. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was either that or Slowking. But yeah, the defense investment allows me just to take on Zard. Zard's not beating me. Zard's not beating me. Even an HP Grass Zard or Willis Zard, that's whatever, as long as I get up my Stealth Rock and force him out with Roar. But just a defensive Rhydon, that way I don't lose to Pokemon like Charizard. It can also check Weavile, like it will take Icicle Crashes from Bandit Weavile, from Life Orb Weavile, and can do a decent chunk with Earthquake. Knock him out with Rocks and Toxic Spikes. Keep in mind we are playing at level 50, which I'm not entirely sure why. Draft format is level 50. I don't know why it's not level 100, but maybe because it's easier for some coaches to do it. But yeah, just basically make sure that I don't lose to Pokemon like Charizard. There was no point in running like the tanks set that Rhydon runs with Spadef investment because all of his special attackers, one, I can naturally take on outside of the ones that actually threaten me with super effective damage. So for example, Comfy, I could just Earthquake, Roar it, T-Spike up. Even if it's taunt, like Earthquake, Roar, Earthquake with T-Spike doing good damage, and Draining Kiss isn't recovering much. Yeah. So next up we have Gyarados. Now, I wanted Gyarados to basically function with the T-Spike. And if I weaken Keldeo to about 50%, a +1 Gyarados can knock it out. And obviously I don't have to Mega immediately. Now there is the chance that he could run HP Electric on Keldeo, maybe like a Belt Set. He could run Taunt, even Icy Wind, HP Ice. If he runs HP Ice, then he can't touch Gyarados. But the idea was I wanted to be faster than a Weavile at +1 and just maximize my attack. I was debating between Ice Fang and Waterfall, but I decided on Waterfall being a little bit better, especially because like Weavile is annoying, so I want to at least be able to hit it, like knock it out at +1, whereas Crunch or Ice Fang would not be able to do so. So I do lack that just that KO on Gliscor at +1. But even then, like Mega Gyarados, after it Mega Evolves, it's still 2 KOs and offensive Gliscor. So even if it was a taunt Gliscor, I could just double Waterfall and knock it out. Yes, he could Roost, but even then he's still taking damage. And if Gliscor is weakened, it helps out the majority of my team. But faster than Weavile at +1. The rest was pumped into HP and defense. And sub is pretty cool because depending on the Keldeo set, for example, if it's Toxic, if it's HP Electric, Secret Sword, there's like some 50-50s with Keldeo, especially if it's like a Scarf Keldeo. That's something I was thinking about. Scarf Keldeo, Scarf Rotom were the two Scarfers like most likely I felt would come. But I'm not faster than Rotom at +1, and I never would be faster than Rotom at +1 since he always should be running max speed, or at least enough speed for Gyarados. But yeah, sub is really nice because if it is a Keldeo going for Secret Sword, I could take it. Especially because I don't have to Mega immediately. If he goes for HP Electric and I Mega Evolve, I take the hit. Sub also helps me avoid Scald Burns for Pokemon like Slowking, for example. The sub also allows me to outplay a Dragon Tail Slowking, since that's the only move that Slowking could use to break my sub if I Mega. Since Psychic Scalds are either immune/resisted, Dragon Tail I can take with a sub, and Ice Beam I would take if I Mega Evolved. So that's something that Gyarados could do, which is why I wanted sub on that. Just a Dragon Dance to avoid Thunder Wave as well from Slowking, Toxic, Scald Burns, things like that. So Gyarados is really, really solid in this matchup because he gets a lot of setup opportunity versus Pokemon like Gliscor, versus Pokemon like some variants of Zard if he's not running Thunder Punch, as well as Weavile. So that's why I really thought that Gyarados would be a really solid pick. And named after my boy Gator. We got Moet and Gator. Nice snakes. Jokes aside, we got my boy Necrozma. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. You see PokeaimMD, you see Photon Geyser, you see Swords Dance. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Now, I made a mistake. And me and Jam did not catch this when we were building. So the way we thought it worked was because I Swords Dance and because Photon Geyser attacks their defense, because of the fact that I Sword Dance boosted and my attack is higher than my special attack, I thought that PokeaimMD would make it a physical psychic type attack and not a special. This is wrong. This is wrong, by the way. And in testing, we should have realized this. I should have realized this in the damage calc, because what we had to do was put like Dynamic Punch in and make Necrozma like part fighting type, and then because Dynamic Punch at a Z move is base 100, which is what Photon Geyser would be, it's a base 100 move that gets Z'd, which is what Photon Geyser would be, and like it was enough. Basically, the idea was if I Swords Dance boosted and I use a Z Photon Geyser and it was physical, it did knock out Slowking guaranteed after a T-Spike. That's why I really like T-Spikes, and that's also why T-Spike were really good on Gyarados. Lets me wear down, well, with Gyarados, it lets me wear down with sub Pokemon like Keldeo. But the Z that this should have been was Tectonic Rage, because Tectonic Rage did the exact same thing. I just wanted that nuke for a Pokemon like Gliscor. But Tectonic Rage should have been the Z I used. But max HP, max attack. There was no point in going speed because at +2 with Rock Polish, I do outspeed as fast as Pokemon, which is Weavile, and I can be bulky enough to take multiple hits from Gliscor, from Slowking, even take knockoff from Weavile, take hits from Keldeo, which is something I also struggled with my team, switching into Keldeo, and I didn't want to bring Whimsicott this game, since I felt like it gave him multiple opportunities to set up. He could run something like HP Poison. Weavile would have more fun versus me. But with Prism Armor, I could take moves like Knockoff. And basically at +2 with a T-Spike up, or with one turn a T-Spike or a Spike up, Weavile goes down to +2 Earthquake. If I had Tectonic Rage, I can knock it out with that. Slowking goes down to +2 Z. If it worked the way I wanted to. I'm just giving you... I'm not trying to spoil anything, but I'm wrong. And I'm just really happy that this happened in week 1, that I messed up with my Z move. Again, not trying to spoil. I typically record these before my battle, but I did not. But yeah, this should have been Tectonic Rage. So, Double Dance Necrozma actually has a lot of opportunities to set up versus him. I can, if Keldeo's in versus Necrozma, you guys like my nickname, by the way? It's just Necrozma spelled the way I say it. Necrozma. Like Cardon? No? Anyway. So it has multiple opportunities to set up versus him. It gives me a fighting resist, which is what I wanted too. Like, one play is like if I have my Miltank out, which I am bringing week 1. If I have Miltank out versus Keldeo, I can go Necrozma on like the Secret Sword. I can pivot around on that. And because I'm just max HP invested, I'm really, really bulky. At +2, I 2-hit KO defensive Gliscor. After hazards and whatnot, like I said, I could deal with Slowking. But this should have been Tectonic Rage. Should have been Tectonic Rage, because at +2 it also knocked out Registeel, knocks out Weavile, knocks out Slowking after the spike damage, and yeah, I miss out on that strong Z move, but I'd rather have it be right than wrong. Like, the calc should have tipped me off, because it made no sense that we have to go out of our way to calc this. Like, it showed that it's special, and even in testing. But yeah, anyway, last one I'm bringing Whitney the Miltank. First week off the bench. So, Miltank is really interesting versus him. I decided on Sap Sipper. Like, it has 2 great abilities versus him, I feel. Actually, all 3 abilities have their merit versus him. Thick Fat helps me check Zard X as well as Weavile. Scrappy helps me set up and pretty much not care about anything on his team, because I can even hit Pokemon like Palisand with Return due to Scrappy. And Sap Sipper means that I have that immunity to Rotom. I decided on Sap Sipper because something that my opponent could do versus me is just click Leaf Storm. I have 2 ground types on the team, and the other 2 don't resist, and one of them that does resist is not taking the move well anyway. So I decided on Sap Sipper, that way he can't spam Leaf Storm versus me. Max Spadef also helps me take 2 Hydro Pumps from Scarf Keldeo, and Heal Bell gives me support just in case Zygarde or Necrozma gets burnt. And I decided on a Curse variant. So a few opportunities like versus him. Like, if he's not burning Taunt or SD Gliscor, this can Curse and kind of beat him, because after +1, especially with T-Spike up, keep in mind T-Spike is up, especially with that T-Spike up, he Keldeo is being worn down. I can curse and then Milk Drink stall it out and have it be worn down from that. Weavile after a curse, knockoff isn't doing too much to me, especially if it's like something like Bandit. I can Milk Drink it up, then curse up again. Charizard isn't beating me 1v1 just because if I go +6, I'm boosting my attack and my defense so I can return up. And I wouldn't use this versus Charizard anyway. I have Rhydon for that. So it gives me a Cleric on the team. It gives me an answer to Rotom, which I thought was pretty smart too, because if he had Trick on Rotom, that means he's lacking... Like, the set I thought he would bring on Rotom would be either a Bloom Doom variant with Leaf Storm, Volt Switch, Defog, and Will-O-Wisp, or a Scarf variant with Volt Switch, Leaf Storm, Defog. I think that if you brought Scarf Rotom, you would bring Defog because it gives you fast Defog. And then either HP Ice or Trick. I think those are two options you could have. Another option would also be Will-O-Wisp as well. Basically, if you didn't have Trick on Rotom, Miltank can deal with it. So that's why I wanted to bring Miltank. I'm hoping that I get to use Curse Tank a lot this, well, maybe not a lot, but I'm hoping that Miltank gets to, like, throughout the season, it gets to show its worth. I think it's a really cool pick. Really fast, decent attack, and has a boosting move, and 3 great abilities. But yeah, I'm really, really, really hyped about the Bronx Beartics this season of the GBA. I hope you guys are as well. Check out my boy Monotooi. His link will be down below. Like I said, great dude. Great battler, and really good in the draft format. But, yeah, that's all I have to say, really. So, thank you everybody for watching. Let's root for the Bronx Beartics. The battle will be up Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. This should be up Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And, yeah. I also like my nicknames. I like Whitney. I couldn't name, like, Necrozma anything that wasn't, like, how I'm going to say it the entire time. And then these two were from, obviously, UCL Season 1. And I asked Gator and Mo if they wanted to be shiny or not, but they both picked regular. I mean, shiny Zygarde is pretty cool. Never mind. That boy looks like a... He looks like Frozone. But Shiny Gyarados is pretty cool. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you guys are looking forward to the battle for Week 1 of the GBA. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.